You had a tip about something about an algorithm. Can you share that with us?
Yes, I will. You might have heard of the reticular activating system, which is kind of our brain's Google, that it's just a way of describing that whatever we are focusing on, we create an algorithm in our lives and online. A lot of us are online a lot. And when we are, you leave an angry comment because you disagree with somebody's politics or something, we start inviting more and more and more of that. Life and the internet will give us more of whatever we are focusing on. So I think one of the greatest skills is simply to break that pattern and focus on what we desire.
What if the best chapter of your life hasn't even begun yet? What lies within you is the power to live brighter, bolder, and truer than ever before. So welcome to Vivatude, where caregiving, connections, and career come into balance, and where your vitality, vision, and voice shines through. Because the revolution isn't out there, it's already within you. Welcome to Vivatude.
And we're back on Vivatude. Thanks for joining us today. My guest is Kate Phillips, and we are talking about wealth mindset. And so, Kate, in this segment, I want to give people an opportunity to find out how they can work with you. Where can they find you? What valuable resources do you have for our listeners so they can start shifting their mindset and stepping into a more abundant role so that they can be better caregivers, be better people for their families, elevate the energy in the world around them. How can they work with you?
Oh, thanks so much, Lauren. My website is totalwealthcoaching.com. That is one place people can find me, and you'll see there an opportunity to sign up for. I have a 22-page guide called Breakthrough to Abundance: the 4 reasons you're stressing over money and how to break the cycle forever. That'll give you more about my work. It'll also add you to my notification list for the trainings. I sometimes do free trainings, sometimes paid trainings, and there's other places you can find me. I am Total Wealth Show on YouTube. I am on Facebook, very active there. The Kate Phillips, accept no substitutes, and I think we'll have some links in the comments.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And when you are working with women specifically on changing their mindset, what are some practical strategies, maybe something that you can share today that somebody could put into action this week or this month? Is there something that
Yes.
you would recommend?
Absolutely. This last Saturday, I was online. I have this group, it's a women's prosperity group, the Wealth Alignment Circle. And we went through, I only do this once a year or twice a year, but I recorded it. So it's actually part of the group now. We went through what I call the money belief breakthrough. And we sat down, and there's a process I walk people through where you grab your journal. We're used to maybe putting in prompts to chat GPT. Well, we can put prompts into our own, we can ask them of ourselves and prompt our minds to come up with all kinds of things we didn't know that we were thinking, that were just below the surface. And so I give them prompts to think about what are your beliefs about money, about people with money? What are your beliefs about yourself as it relates to money? What are your beliefs about if you've got maybe a business or a career? There's different ways that we make money, maybe investing. What are your beliefs about the business, the economy, your boss? What are your beliefs about, investing? And these are the beliefs that shape our reality. And so we've got to change our beliefs before something new can arise. So something somebody could do, if they wanted to work with me, I would say absolutely contact me, and I can send you information about the Wealth Alignment Circle. I'm also happy if some people are interested in one-on-one work, we can hop on, a 20 or 30-minute Zoom coffee, casual chat, and talk about that, because there are many ways that I work with people, but that's an example.
And that is so important. And oftentimes, those beliefs we have are unconscious. So I love that you are creating opportunities for people to take the hidden unconscious beliefs they have about money and not be ashamed of them, right? To say, okay, let's do some digging, let's probe, let's pull that up to the surface so that we can look at it. And when we look at it, then we can go, oh, look at that. That's probably not useful. What what could we
Oh,
do
I
instead? But we have to be willing to go there first, right?
Yes. Let me share a quick story of my friend and client, Jan. She came to me several years ago, and she has a nonprofit, amazing nonprofit called Paving the Way, that is all about preventing human trafficking, educating teens and parents especially. And she had launched this nonprofit. She was struggling, was not paying herself a salary at all. And her stories, her money stories at that point was, nobody wants to hear about human trafficking. Fundraising is hard. These were her stories. And I invited her into, at that point in time, I had, an intensive 8-week program called Rewrite My Money Story. I'm like, Jan, you just need to do this. I'm just telling you. I said, I'll give you a money back guarantee. And she had, you know, that started her breakthroughs. And I think it was the very next year she was invited to a particular special breakfast in Orlando. And she walked away from that breakfast with, I think, $72,000 in grants and donations that she had been given. And I just met up with her. She actually just joined the Wealth Alignment Circle, and it's been a few years since all of that happened. And she said to me, she said, we're ready to cross $1 million in fundraising. $1 million.
Amazing. And yes,
So
and without that shift, those invisible beliefs that she was carrying with her would have influenced her capacity to even receive, to even ask for those funds. And how often does that play out in so many women's lives? You had a tip about something about an algorithm. Can you share that with us?
Yes, I will. You might have heard of the reticular activating system, which is kind of our brain's Google, that it's just a way of describing that whatever we are focusing on, when you enter something into Google, you get the answers. And so whatever our minds are focusing on, we get more of that. We all know how algorithms work and online, and we have an algorithm. We create an algorithm in our lives and online. A lot of us are online a lot, and when we are, you leave an angry comment because you disagree with somebody's politics or something, we start inviting more and more and more of that. Life and the internet will give us more of whatever we are focusing on. So I think one of the greatest skills is simply to break that pattern and focus on what we desire.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your enthusiasm, your wisdom, your energy with us and with our listeners. And I want to encourage everybody to subscribe to Vivatude, leave a comment in the chat if you're interested. Follow Kate's show. She's going to be doing a series on the wealth mindset, on financial and occupational wellness. And what is it that you call it? Purpose and
Purpose
prosperity.
and prosperity. It's what it's all
Yes.
about.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Kate, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of Vivatude. Wasn't Kate fantastic? If you had any insights or aha moments, please take a moment to leave a comment. We read every single one, and we want to learn about you and what inspires you and what you want to know more about. When we are talking about emotional and spiritual wellness, our ability to feel financially empowered is a huge part of that. And as you heard, you can reach out to Kate at totalwealthcoaching.com and watch her episodes here on Vivatude, because together we are building a collective, a community of women that are raising each other up, helping to expand our capacity to be our best and to make a difference in this world. I know in my own life, after my divorce, I had some real coming to terms with money. I remember I had earned a whopping $2,500 in a little period of time with my coaching practice because I had been disrupted, and I walked away from an 18-year marriage with no spousal support, and I was really scared. I was terrified. And then I got a tax bill for about the same amount of money I had earned. And it was then that I realized I need to pay attention to my money story and my energy. And so I just so appreciate her inspiration about shifting our relationship with money, and that it all starts from the inside out. It starts by changing our beliefs, by changing our energy, by being willing to receive, by opening up to new ways of thinking about money. And Kate is really fantastic at helping us think outside the box. And if you want to dive deeper into your own consciousness, into shifting your ability and your capacity to use this amazing power of your mind to elevate your energy and your mood and to shift how you show up in the world, then be sure to hop on over to my website at laurenarcher.live. That's .live, not .com. And there you'll find my 7-day reset. It's part of my energy elevation lab. I call it a lab because it's like a little laboratory where you can do your own experiments and make your own discoveries. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here to help you shift your capacity to change your relationship with your thoughts, your feelings, and your energy. So in these 7 days, it's totally free. You will have an opportunity to focus each day on a color, a frequency, one universal principle, and an inner experiment that you can do to change your relationship with yourself. You'll find this and so much more on the Vivatude website, where we are creating tools and resources for women who are moving through midlife, coming at it from a fresh perspective, your revolution emerging from within. Join the collective, help us build this community, leave a comment, and we look forward to staying connected with you on Vivatude.
And thanks for listening to Vivatude. 4 hosts, 1 each week. We help you revivitude your next chapter, because purpose, passion, and prosperity isn't out there. They're already within you. Brighter, bolder, truer. Vivatude.